This just in, a study titled The Effects of Executive Coaching on Behaviors, Attitudes, and Personal Characteristics, a meta-analysis of randomized control trial studies. Stay tuned for more. Wake up! Wake up!
What?
Welcome to It Doesn't Take a Genius.
Sorry. Well, I guess you should say Ramsey at this point, but maybe we're past that.
Ramsey! Wake up!
That wasn't quite as stunning as I thought it was going to be. Hey, this will be an interesting episode. I mean, we say it doesn't take a genius, but that was quite a title. I need to really think about that.
That was deep. Yeah. Anytime something says meta-analysis of randomized control trial studies, you know it's going to be good. You're like, oh, that's what I've been waiting for. The rabbit hole. I was thinking about coaching and what we do, and the idea that for so long it's been hard to put a value on it.
Yeah.
You know, does it work? Does it have long-term impact and things like that? So I thought, well, there's so many research papers online now. I'll go and start Googling and I had the AI help me do some searching and stuff like that. And lo and behold, it came up with a study. And so, straight out of the world of PhDs, peer reviews, charts, graphs, there's Greek letters. It's terribly frightening. So the research method, right? So these guys, for this study, a meta-analysis is a study of other studies.
Yep.
So these guys went out and reviewed 20 other studies over about the last 20 years that had, here's some more good words, rigorous methodological design that used controls and pre and post tests. They compared the relative effects on coaching on different types and subtypes of outcomes by a means of classification of coaching outcomes based on previously used taxonomies. Yeah. Ramsey! Yeah. So, bottom line is, right, researchers... Yeah. Translation, researchers looked at many executive coaching studies and asked, does coaching actually work?
Yeah. Is there any research that shows that this actually even does any good for anybody?
Yeah, and you're like, well, why couldn't you have written that? Like, do we need the other? Like, are you working for the ink toner people? What's going on here?
But I very much appreciate the question. I guess I'll say it this way. I know there are some, for instance, personality tools out there that do not have a lot of empirical evidence. Mm-hmm. I think the accusation is it's sort of like an astrology chart. You read about Libra and you go, yeah, that sounds like me. That's me. But it's vague enough that sure, it's anybody. Is coaching similar to that, right? Like, am I just hearing what I want to hear from a coach? And frankly, I know people that do that kind of coaching, right? They're cheerleaders,
right?
Or they're, I need a guy that steps on my toes. They're the tough love guy who gives you advice that, you didn't want to hear, but you need it. But that's not coaching. And does actual coaching have a benefit? The cool thing here is that it's been going on long enough. What would you say? The 90s is sort of when it started to really become a field. Mm-hmm. And so we've got decades to go on here, really. And you and I have clients who have said, hey, I always have a coach. I know it works. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm hiring you. But wouldn't it be nice now that we've had decades of possible, data to go on to say, okay, but does it?
Oh, yeah. Well, what's really fascinating is in the sports world, it's a given.
Yeah.
In the sports world, I have coaches. I have multiple coaches. I have a swing coach. I have a nutrition coach. I have, I've got all these, I've got the team coach, right? And then on that team, I've got different specialty coaches. No question. And then you get to business and you go, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if the coach would be helpful. You're like, it seems to be working really well over here. So, and that was kind of the basis for the study. Was the researchers looked at it and said, "Man, this is getting very popular."
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are doing it. Is the juice, or is the squeeze, netting the juice that I'm looking for.
Right.
And so, we'll dive right into it. Does coaching actually work? Right. The results from the study, and we'll put this in English. The results indicate that the impact of coaching on behavioral outcomes was higher compared to attitudes and person characteristic outcomes, suggesting that behavioral coaching outcomes, especially cognitive behavioral activities, are the most impacted by executive coaching.
Okay.
And they found significant positive effects for some specific outcomes, such as self-efficacy, psychological capital, and resilience, indicating that executive coaching is effective in producing change even on dimensions considered relatively stable over time.
Okay. So does coaching actually work?
Well, the answer is yes. But there's a twist, right? Behaviors change a lot,
Uh-huh.
attitudes change a little, and personality barely moves.
Okay. Okay.
Which is, you would kind of like, all right, that makes sense, right? I can get people to do things. I can change I can help improve their attitudes, but who they are at their core, it's just going to be who they are at their core.
I buy that for the most part, because it's obviously what people hire us for is I want to have some new result. So there's going to be some behavior that has to change. And as long as they're working with me, it's kind of easier for that change to happen, right? Because they're going to keep seeing me month after month.
Right.
And so there's some accountability built into that. Having said that, let me, for intellectual honesty's sake, just say out loud, if I haven't spent any time helping you get some new awareness about who you are, right? Like, I don't want necessarily to change who you are, but I want you to have awareness about who you are. The actions that flow out of that awareness are going to be probably a longer term behavior change, right? Like I've figured out that, this is the kind of person I am, and if I want that result, then I'm going to have to start waking up earlier and have a planning session before my day starts as a manager, right? For instance, but it's because I've come to that awareness about who I am as a person that has allowed me to say that's what I need to be doing, and that's going to last probably after I'm gone, right? Like the coaching relationship's over because we made the change, and congrats, we're moving on. So I just want to say that out loud.
No, I think you're onto it, right? The behavior change, and the study kind of talks about that. The behavior change is affecting the attitude. And so, I feel more confident and things like that. And they talk about we've talked about it when we talk about tools like DISC, where it's a behavioral analysis, and we talk about how much energy it takes to do something that's not your natural state of being.
That's right.
And so if maybe my personality won't change a lot, but I will, because I've had coaching, be willing to expend the energy necessary to do the behaviors that I know are effective.
Yeah, or delegate it out because it's something that is so draining to me, and I know it's not a strength, but I've got these other strengths, and to lean into those, I'm going to have to delegate it out. But that's a behavior that I have done, right? I have done the behavior of delegating out that thing that I hired you for. I'll take it either way, right?
Either way, whichever, chicken or egg thing, whichever one comes first, right? And so, the thought was, right, behavior changes, that gets a change in results, confidence grows, and then ultimately attitude improves.
I like it.
And what's really wild is that I used to use this quote, 30 years ago. It's attributed to Julius Caesar, but nobody knows if he really said it. He said the exact same thing. He said, without training, they lack knowledge. Without knowledge, they lack confidence. Without confidence, they lacked victory. So he said the exact same thing.
Yep.
Right? They need
Yep.
the skills. The skills, impart what they know. They implement that. They feel more confident, and they go out and win. Just yeah. This it's like nothing is new, right? We just keep
Yeah.
rediscovering the things that we know work.
Well, we did an episode fairly recently about the fact that people don't need so much to be taught as reminded. And
Hmm.
it's kind of along the same lines here. Like you know inside, maybe you haven't thought about it in a while. Maybe it's something that you need to be woken up to. But you're like, oh yeah, that is really who I am. So I'm going to act accordingly as a result of that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's a virtuous cycle, right? Like
Hmm.
once I do that and I have success, confidence grows, and that performance then only improves, right? Because my mindset about it has improved.
Oh yeah. Well, and so if you believe the study is correct that you can change behaviors, you can somewhat change attitude and personality is the same. It also goes back to the Chick-fil-A hiring hierarchy,
Mm.
where they
Hmm.
said we hire for the three C's at
Yep.
Chick-fil-A. We hire for character, chemistry, and competency,
Hmm.
and the first two just have to be there.
Yep.
I remember the hiring manager for Chick-fil-A says, "We don't train people to be nice. We just hire nice
Yeah.
people."
Right. Right.
like so they're admitting in
Hmm.
their model that character, competency, attitude, personability, these things are pretty well set. So we're going to go out and find people who already have the traits that align with our values, and then we'll teach them the behaviors, the activities to do the
Right.
job.
Right.
So go ahead. Yeah, that's to me it's fascinating how all this is connecting.
Yeah, I agree. And so what would that look like for, we're hoping to do an episode here, maybe our next episode, sort of talking about, all right, what are when you're hiring a coach, if this is something you're interested in, and the paper is specifically about executive coaching, right?
Hmm.
So this is about people at the top saying, who do I talk to, and they've got a coach that's helping them work through issues. So we're going to have an episode specifically about, what does it look like to hire a coach? What should you be looking for? What will be happening in that coaching relationship? But just in sort of a broad picture, like what are the elements of good coaching that allow the kinds of data that the white paper uncovered, that the research paper uncovered to happen? What's good coaching look like?
Well, and it's stuff that we've been talking about for years. Thank goodness we were on the right track. So,
Sorry, Mike. Hold on. Let me.
yeah,
Yeah, we did a great job. Pat the
we
back.
we are amazing. So yeah, it says what they in the study what they figured out was good coaching has clear goals, measurable results or measurable behaviors,
Mhm.
right? So I want to see measurable activities and regular feedback.
Okay. Okay.
That's it.
And
So yeah, it's not flyby. It's not a big hoorah speech. It's
yep.
not a lecture. Right. It's here's where we're going. Here's what you're doing. Let's talk about it and see if we can get a little bit better at it every single day.
And I like the clear goals part because that's a big part of really any good consulting, coaching, even training to sort of look the client in the eye and say, what does success look like? Let's you and
Hmm.
me keep that top of mind, that what you're actually trying to achieve. So we'll know whether or not we're successful, right?
Hmm.
And you would only know that if there was regular behaviors that you were giving feedback on at some point. Like you tried something, how did it work? Let's hear the result of that and get some feedback. So
Hmm.
circling all the way back around, it is not cheerleading.
Nope.
It
Nope.
is not tough love conversations. It is a different thing that involves goals, behaviors, and then feedback.
Right. Yeah. It's not a lecture. It's not directive. It's we're gonna have conversations about what's going on, both positive and negative. Right. What's the progress we're made? What remains to be done? How are we
Yeah,
going to get there?
yeah.
And having those conversations. So Yeah, all the stuff, right? We've got a number of videos on that, a couple of books, so we can help you out there.
I happen to have one right here, as a matter of fact.
Very nice.
Welcome to the Inquiring Leader.
Yes, yeah, that was not a pre-planned product placement.
It was not.
I just want you to know. So while the study, you're exactly right. The study talks about executive coaching and its effectiveness, right? And it says that it is an effective intervention in organizations, especially for behavioral change.
Yeah.
But it goes on to make the supposition that this meta-analysis has brought significant support for the effectiveness of coaching that organizations may consider using for other groups of employees, such as production employees, to support their personal development. So, yeah, it's not just for your executive leadership, your senior staff, right? Everybody can benefit from these coaching interactions.
I 100% agree with that. So how would an inquiring leader make use of this? What are behaviors that you could try this week to try to do some coaching, of yourself a little bit, but really of your team. And I think it goes back to goals, behaviors, feedback, right? It's asking those questions. What exactly are we trying to accomplish here? What's a behavior that we could work on? Certainly what might get in the way, and then how are we going to measure it? How are we going to measure to see that it's actually happening? So asking those good questions, and we'll talk about this next episode, but it's questions and observations from your coach. Gives you a chance to change your mindset, change your thinking about a thing, get some awareness, and then actually take action and change that behavior.
Excellent. I wholeheartedly agree. All right, and if you want to put a cherry on top of this thing, the bottom line: coaching doesn't change who people are. It does change what they do, and when people start doing better, they become better.
Fascinating. I think we should let a man who's always doing better take us out.
That's you, Mr. Wolf. Go ahead.
And that's it. Join us next time when you'll hear Mike say, well, I'm sure he'll say something pithy. Don't miss it. Next time, it doesn't take a genius.
That's good enough.